Hey everybody, it's the 6th of May, 2025. This is Aiken PBL live coding from Gimbalabs and friends, and we're doing a new experiment today. You saw maybe in previous weeks, if you've been following along or if you've been dropping by, we wrapped the official lecture series to accompany the Aiken PBL course, which is still live, and we'll share a link to that below this video. But now we're moving into the part where anybody can bring questions anytime. And we got to make a new friend. Code Cow started showing up, asking some questions during the last few lectures. And then last week, we started to look at a code base that he built. But before we went live today, we were talking about this and the idea that obviously the person who wrote the code can show us the code, right? And all of us can, admire the great work and all that. But better learning happens when somebody else gets their hands on that code, tries to run the tests, has a chance to really ask questions. I do hope that we run into some errors today and we have to figure those out together because that's the good stuff. But that's what we're going to experiment with today is just a pair programming style walkthrough where Newman's going to share screen. Code Cow is going to answer some questions, and the rest of us, Andrew, Harsha, and me, are going to ask some clarifying questions along the way. When we're done and we publicly share this video, the question we really want to bring to the broader community is, does this represent an audit, right? Does having a group of people like this go through a code base, run the tests, maybe ask some questions about edge cases? Is that enough? And I know that there's a bunch of people at Gimbal Labs who aren't here today, but have had similar questions to this. So we're excited to make this contribution to ongoing R&D in the community and just building out processes for people to push real stuff, products, right, or experiments like the one we're talking about here onto mainnet so people can play with them. So I hope that's a fair representation of what we're about to do. Um, Newman, you want to get us started?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Code Cow, do you while I'm sharing the screen, is that did that seem right to you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, so here is, and I believe that I just synced up to the, yeah, it looks like these were the that you had a few commits
Yep.
recently about spelling. I can synchronize it up. It's all good. Here is the README file, and Double Spent is the name. A less than zero sum game of musical chairs, uh, naively chasing theoretical Lagrange points of equilibrium. God bless America. This I always think about Lagrange points in space, but using a series of Aiken smart contracts for measuring treasury, marketplace, Oracle, NFT minting, and burning operations on the Cardano blockchain. This protocol is automatic, deterministic, transparent, and censorship resistance. Created by Unspent PX. Where's this link go? Oh yeah, nice. Okay. Um, where? What should we start off with? Um,
I would love to start with the big picture. There are a bunch of contracts. So, what does each contract serve in the game?
so when contracts, it's funny because as we get more granular, as we learn, what exactly is a contract, and like the idea of a redeemer, a validator, uh, datum, a type, or an interface. So here is this code. So we've got these Aiken files, marketplace, Oracle NFT, Oracle, the pot spin, the
James
pot
James
withdraw.
suggested to go through the docs to understand like what each of these contracts do.
All right. And I think that is, so for instance, we've got the marketplace here. Let's pull up the marketplace spec, spend marketplace. There are parameters, user actions, and a close. And let me double tap into this and get onto this guy. There is a parameters owner, the dev address to collect the fees, fee percentage, basis point. And I'm pretty familiar with what's going on here. We could actually bring up the actual app to sort of you could see the visual representation of it. Is there a spot, CodeCow, is there a spot for it?
Yeah, the website's live at unspenttx.com.
tx.com, like that. Yeah.
And then it's I love Gimbalabs, all lowercase.
I love it. Did I get it? Nice.
And then you need
Cool.
to enable the wallet up the top right.
Yeah, I might have to switch into a different browser. And this is on the main
This is on
mainnet or
testnet, but it's live
okay.
on my website or
Okay,
pre-prod.
cool. It's on pre-prod. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good. I'm just gonna switch browsers really quick and pop this over.
Okay, sorry. While Newman's doing that, if you wouldn't mind, because I'm pretty new to your code base, what's what's your goal? What have you built here?
The ability it's the ability to buy NFTs,
Okay.
and the cost to buy the NFT, most of that stays within the protocol, and it can be redeemed for NFT holders in two different ways. And those two different ways kind of create the game logic to hopefully encourage buying at different stages of protocol growth. So the cost is 106 ADA, and the first half of the collection can burn for 200 ADA, and the last person to mint can claim 4% of the protocol revenue after a on-chain timer runs out, and that timer is increased each mint.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's
So
interesting.
the only actions are minting, burning, and then claiming that 4% prize pool at the end after the timer. The marketplace is like an additional kind of side thing. It's its own contract that just allows buying. Like you can list your NFT for whatever price you want, and then anybody else can just buy it, and it's a direct swap. There's nothing really fancy going on with the marketplace, nor is it part of the DApp of minting and burning for all of that stuff, right? The marketplace is just like any other marketplace. I figured might as well have it here, and I'll limit it to just the NFTs of the collection. So it's just kind of that. And then, yeah.
Okay. That looks really cool. Thanks.
All right, yeah. And this is so yeah, we've got the front end open.
Nice. Yeah. So that's why they're different buttons between the marketplace and the double spent NFT, right? Because they're
nice.
this
Yes,
is the main
yes.
this is the main thing where you can buy, burn, and claim.
I see. So talk us through the front end. Maybe, I mean, I guess that's not super codey, but it helps me.
So
And
the
then let
first
me
thing to really grasp is that NFTs are counted in order, a sequential order: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right now there's been 6 minted, so the
right,
collection count is at 6. And if you scroll
right,
down just a little bit to mint, you'll see you're going to mint number 7.
right.
Okay. And when you buy that, it costs, this is on the left side of the screen, it costs 106 ADA and creates 3 UTXOs. 100 goes to the treasury script,
Ah,
Prize pool, right? That 4 is that 4% I was just talking about. The 4% of the total protocol revenue is that
mhm.
4 ADA from that goes to the prize pool when you buy. And then 2 ADA is leaves and comes to me as a fee.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then, so if you scroll down, we'll just run through this, I guess.
Sure. Aha, okay. Eligible NFTs may double spend from the treasury, allowing owners to exchange a burnt NFT for two UTXOs worth 100 each, a maximum or 200 total. So this is the game part of it. So you can burn your NFT off of the, yeah.
You can burn your NFT for more than it costs to buy, as long as the protocol has doubled, has grown.
Right.
Numbered NFT is just the relation to the collection count, the total collection count. So if that
Yeah.
number ever drops to less than half of the collection count, it's able to burn for more ADA than it costs to create.
Okay.
And then
And
the last thing is the prize pool that works with the timer.
right. Oh, that's right. And the timer is running. So if the timer runs out, that's when the game is over. And I mean, is that okay to call it a game? It's like a,
Yeah,
or the
I think of
experiment
it
or
as a game.
the action is, um, so when, and yeah, this is the, well, let me read through this. The prize pool is free to claim under two, but the on-chain timer must have expired. Okay, the transaction must be signed by the most recent minter. Okay, so okay. And the timer extends by 1200 slots, which is in this and the pre-prod, and I guess it's the same on main. I learned about slots getting into Yaki this past Friday, which is like a local network that you can set up. I got halfway there. Um, Timer extends by 1200 slots, around 20 minutes for each NFT. So the game sort of extends when new people are minting. Okay. And I love it. Rugged is the last to mint. I love it.
We have some weird design thing when you hovered that. Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah.
must be a
Yeah.
bug. But yeah, Rocket. Because yeah, you're
Yeah. Because
theoretically
that's
like once somebody claims it, like once that timer expires, like the whole dynamics of like why people may participate completely changes. Like, so if that happens and the timer does get reached, then it's essentially rugging it. I mean, but it's like, because I would assume attention would drop after that.
right.
But
Okay. Yeah, of course.
yeah, so those are the three actions. That's it. Is those three actions plus the marketplace, which right was the other thing. But it's really this that I want to talk about is these three.
Yeah. So let's go through. I mean, Harsha and Andrew, James, I wouldn't mind. Here's my idea. If okay, so this just shows the um I would love to see this script. I mean, and then also like the front end stuff is interesting to me and us through the Asteria project because we're building a front end on top of all this. What did you build the front end in? And wait a minute, before you answer, I'm gonna switch over the code. And this is like the one thing to look at. Oh, wait a minute.
I
Where's
didn't
my
put any
pack?
front end in the open source code yet.
I
So I
see.
built
Okay,
it with
okay,
Next,
okay.
Tailwind, and then it's the Next project,
Is it
Next.js.
what's the oh geez, how to say it? Uh what is the yeah, is it with mesh, lucid, and then how do you say that? That's my question.
I
what
use
is mesh?
Mesh. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I use what I
It's
learned in
the
this course, which is
y-
Mesh. I use Vodka and
right.
And Newman,
and
you would say
yeah.
what transaction library are you using?
What front end transaction library or
Sure.
just
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. You got it. Well, you got what I was going for. And then I will count that as my my -10 intellectual points. That was I was just facing my fear because I was like, whoa, shit, how do I explain that to somebody? But yeah, what front end library are you using? And then that is and also the vodka stuff. That's great. Uh, all right, all right. I don't want to get too far in the weeds because this is what I wanted to. So I wanted to see this minting transaction,
Yeah,
and I would look
that's Plutus
for
NFT.
Ludus NFT, this one in the specification. And so let's get rid of this one. Oh, here we got it right here in the preview mode. So mint, a parameter. Let's close this one down and Plutus NFT here. Yeah. Uh, this one, let's stay in preview for this. Okay. There's a parameter Oracle NFT, policy ID of Oracle NFT, mint with the redeemer R mint, one input Oracle NFT. And there's one token minted from the current transaction with the correct token name, which is a variable of count. Also in this Plutus NFT, there's a burn with the redeemer R burn. Okay, now I'm going to look into the code and jump in anyone if you. So it imports a bunch of stuff. Inline data input, a bunch of mocktail things. And cocktail. Mocktail is our testing stuff. So I'd imagine like way down here are the tests. Yes, good. Oh, it's not that many lines of code. 182, not bad. Okay. So there's this. Okay, so this is familiar. R mint and a mint polarity. Okay. It's like we're in a game and I'm like these are the monsters that we'll face later. Okay, here's our validator. And inside the validator, okay, there's our parameter, Oracle NFT policy ID. And there's our mint. We know that the mint takes a redeemer policy ID and a transaction of these types. It's saying that this type matches with this type. Oh man, it's like I learned this stuff. When redeemer is okay, so I'm familiar with this pattern. So we create a variable transaction, which has a bunch of stuff, but we're mostly interested in inputs and mint and TX, which comes in from this. Okay. Respect.
Would you mind explaining what the datum's doing here, please, Codeco?
Okay, this line here, 28.
I will answer, but I think Newman's got it.
I says, I'm going to let this fish run. Oh, let him run out. Okay. And you can help me, Andrew. You can help me because so the inline datum is here. Auth input,
So
output.
the auth input is basically checking for a specific token with a specific policy ID, and it is cross-checking in the next line. Am I getting that right?
Checking the datum in the original UTXO. It's finding the UTXO and it's checking the datum inside of it, I think.
Oh yeah, it is
But
checking the datum. Yeah.
Inputs
Where
with
is it?
policy, I think, is a vodka function.
Let's see
I'm,
what that says.
I'm
Wait a
assuming that
minute.
the count is locked in the datum. Is that correct? So then
Correct.
check,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Yeah.
So, so what's the difference between Oracle datum and inline datum? And you get it from a thing called Oracle. Where does this even come from? That's weird. Where's that?
That's
Oh, that's here, right here, huh?
Yeah.
Ah, yes, correct. I should get points. I should be getting scored points. Like before, I got minus points, but for that, I got plus points. Okay. Oh, I got minus points again because if you don't double click, it takes over the screen where you were, and I don't know how to go back. Oh, wait a minute, maybe here. No? Yeah. Look, if it's italicized, that means that it could disappear at any moment. But if you double click on it, it becomes normal font. It's going to stick around. Just useful when you know what you're doing. But okay, we want to double click in on this Oracle, or we want to keep going?
Go look at that Oracle datum and just see the full
Okay.
structure.
Okay. So this is like a teeny. Not so. Oh no! Holy crap! Oh,
There's
this
the
is
Oracle
huge.
datum at the top.
Okay, this guy. So this is a a, Aiken calls it a custom prim, primitive types and custom types. So this is a primitive type. That pub means that you can import it and
This
other
is not a
things.
primitive type.
Not a primitive
It's a
type. Yeah,
custom
they're
type. Yeah.
custom type. Yes. And thanks, Harsha. And so it has all these things like account, a treasury address. Oh, okay, the pot address, the fee address, which is an of type address, the winner, the pub key hash of the last NFT purchaser. So each time somebody mints, if they've minted last, they're the winner. So if you want to be the winner, you just keep being the last person to mint. That's part of the game. Oh, this is where the rubber meets the road, right here. So the lock price, which is an integer, treasury lock price. Lock price. Okay, pot price, prize pool, lock price. Lock. What's the like lock? What's the lock price?
That's
Like
100 ADA.
where is it? Is that in the front end somewhere?
Yeah. Go back to the front end and look at those three notable UTXOs. 100 goes to the treasury script, 4
Is
goes
that
to the
the lock?
prize pool, and 2
Yeah.
goes to the developer. And so then go back to the code.
Yep.
Lock price is 100. Pot
Okay.
price is 4. And the fee price is 2.
Okay.
But right, the reason that these are in Oracle Datum is because we could change these parameters if we wanted to do a new
Right.
game.
The treasury script you call the lock price. So that is okay. So that's what gets locked up. That's and then the prize pool is the pot. That's the prize. And then the fee, that's the developer fee. Okay. Now I'm beginning. Harsha, Andrew, does that sort of make sense to you? Or am I just being like, ooh, for no
Yeah, it
reason?
makes sense. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
I get
Okay.
it.
Start slot. Okay, these are the timing things. Okay, so the start, because this is the time part of it. Slot increase. Okay, and these are parameters, meaning that they can change. And I guess when you start a new game, this would change, and then this can be variable with, if you want to set up one that has a quick or a long frequency or something. Okay.
So the slot increase is the 1,200 slots, or
Yeah.
roughly 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's down in the last here. This guy right here. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, man. Okay, do we want to? What else is down in this?
I would go back and mint the
Yeah.
NFT, because now
Yeah.
we understand where count comes from. It's in our Oracle datum. But let's mint the NFT and see how do we do that.
Yeah. So here's our mint. So this is the R mint that we talked about. So Oracle datum, input datum. So these are these expecs are all the things that come in from, yeah. Help me out. I'm throwing.
Yeah, from the
Is-
transaction, you could sort
Yeah,
of find these things from the transaction that comes through.
right. Redeemer.
Newman, this
Alright.
may help. Inline datum is more of like a type. It's like sum, whereas Oracle datum is like what I'm actually getting.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Right. So it's saying like, all right, we're gonna check the inputs of the policy of the Oracle NFT, which is parameterized. And we are expecting only one auth input from the Oracle NFT. And then that does have inline datum, but it's like, what's in inline datum? We're not sure yet. It just
Oh,
needs to have some. And so
sure.
that would fail if you sent one in with no datum at all. Okay, that would fail in that
Okay.
line. But then it needs to be the right type of datum, and that's where the expect Oracle datum count, right? That's where we check the exact
Yeah.
type we want. Okay, so then we
Okay.
use that count and we build an asset name with it. And this is really important to the game logic.
Yes. Yes. Convert into bytes. So you're converting that integer into bytes, and you're giving it the asset name. Now, where do you use this asset? Only minted token. So what about this one? Where is that?
Are they possibly defined lower down? Or have they been imported?
Yeah.
Cocktail.
No, it's imported, and it's a cocktail function.
Okay.
Ooh. Now, if Harsha and I were just doing this on a typical random morning, we would dig down into the docs for
I'm
cocktail,
looking
but
at
I don't
it.
think. Yeah, he's already doing it. I knew it. I'm in this guy's head.
It says check if the minted value contains only one distinct asset with a particular policy ID. That's what only minted token does.
Yeah.
And I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Oh, is there a, if I hover here, would it show up something? It's also like some super VS Code kung fu that I've never really understood. But worth it to check out the docs or keep going? I mean, we kind of understand. What do you think?
Harsha just
I,
read it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
I'll just post the docs because they're kind of hard to find.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if you want, you can always reference.
yeah. Look up some docs. Okay, okay, cool. We'll just show it. We'll just show it. This is what it looks like, everybody playing along.
I love vodka.
Yes, man. Because it gives you some utility functions that you don't have to build yourself, and you can kind of
And more
trust.
so, yes, all that. And it tells me like what, like it kind of puts some pieces together and builds a concept of like only minted token. Like that's the concept I can, understand. But like the little pieces that need to go together to get that, it's just really useful. I like it a lot.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, all right. Um, so and then that is a testing type of thing, this little question mark, right? So
Yes.
it will print that out or something when we do the.
No,
Yeah, it'll
it's
give
a
us a nice
bool.
trace statement.
Oh, that's right. It just checks if it's true or false. Okay.
Yeah, and that is the final validation of true or false, right? That's our Boolean. And then it just the question mark
Oh,
is the trace.
oh, okay. So that's all that it's checking. Just checking, did this one thing mint
Yeah,
with yeah.
with the right asset name, which is equal to the count.
Yeah.
Because that's, if we go back into the docs or whatever, it needs to be, the asset name needs to be count.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one right there. Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that was cool to hear you walk through that. I mean, it's like
Dude,
you're
man.
voicing all of our thoughts in our heads, right? Like we're all
Good,
thinking
good, good,
it,
good.
just waiting for you to say it.
It's
Fun.
probably good in a certain way to have the lowest sort of like with the least sort of experience or like the uh the lowest level player in that sort of role-playing game to like take us through the dungeon, because then we're going at the right pace for most people. Although it may be going too slow. So if you want me to speed up, uh, or if
I
you want
don't
to
think so.
drive for a minute. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, so
Sounds
then
good,
we
Newman.
immediately, yeah, okay, good, thank you. And then we immediately go here on line 44, we immediately go into tests. So,
Hey, Newman, I thought there was one more line we missed. R
oh, the
burn.
burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wow, this burn is super, super teeny.
A lot of the
Uh,
logic is in the Oracle, and so yes, it is small here, but there is more logic to like create this transaction because
nice.
you're
Okay, so, uh-huh.
or the mint spends the Oracle NFT, right? It actually spends it.
So to summarize, in this validator, we are just checking that the minting is correct, so that you mint one token or you burn one token. And
Yep.
in the Oracle validator, we have the other logic.
Yeah, totally, exactly. So when we
I'm sure we
spend
have to
the
check in
Oracle,
the NFT validator that the Oracle is present.
yeah,
Because we wanted Oracle token in the Bluetooth NFT validator, we need to spend the Oracle token. But then the logic sits for everything else.
exactly.
Okay. Um, okay, so I feel like there's like in the whole role-playing game analogy, we could take the door on the north and go into the tests, or we can take the door on the east and go over to the Oracle. What says the rest of the party?
I think it's easier if we look at the tests for the Bluetooth NFT.
Perfect. So here's one. And I could run the tests. Is that something that we could do?
But
Do
but before running the tests, I want to understand what each test is doing, and then we can run the test.
Oh man, you would want that, man. This is why Harsh is a true player. Okay, here we go. Um, watch this. Test, 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 test. So many tests. Tests. Oh my God. Look at all these tests. Success mint, fail mint with incorrect time. Okay, so someone comes in before or after the game and tries to do it.
Incorrect name.
Oh, oh, thank you for that. Incorrect name. Let's dive into that one. Did you check? Did you check for time? Mm, No.
We're not dealing
Wait.
with time in this logic,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
right? We're just checking the count and the
Uh,
name and making sure that it's either burnt.
ah, okay. So let's look through this. So with this R mint redeemer, so that's up here. Uh, we're getting a policy ID from the mocktail, and we're using the first one. We've worked with that and before. The input value. So, and then we know this one, it creates a thing with a piped thing, which adds, looks like it might add some Lovelace. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's like they're just the minimum Lovelace. We're simulating the Oracle NFT UTXO.
Right. Okay. And then because we know that it needs a transaction for this redeemer or a TX, we create all of this. With this datum, Oracle datum. So this is creating that Oracle
Yeah.
with all those prices that we saw, all those variables. Yeah, all these are all the parameters that go in with the count of 0. And this one is going to have the incorrect name. So the name and the count are connected.
Mhm.
And true. Uh, this one seems sort of important.
That's just the mocktail Boolean value. So you're minting, right? You are minting true. One policy ID, and then the asset name is the string. So that
Okay.
right, does that string equal count?
Doesn't appear. Should just be one, right? Or zero.
Yeah, it should be zero to
Right.
succeed. That would be my guess to make that test flip, right? If we change the string of collection parentheses one to just zero, then I
Yeah,
would assume it would succeed.
it would pass. Yeah. Now, I know e.mint. Now walk me through this one. Uh, I know that exclamation or bang use the is the negative. So or not. What is that? I haven't really kind
So,
of feel like I
so
kind of know
I
what that is
think by the end of the day, the test will say true if it fails and false if it passes.
because of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that what is it? Oh, because that's referencing this mint. Okay. I just it took a minute for my brain to catch up. Okay. And so that it's running through that. The redeemer is right up here somewhere. Redeemer is here. Policy D is up there in text. So you're setting up all this, and this is the running of the test. Okay. Do we run it now?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to run the test.
Okay, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Aiken build. All right, do we have to do this right first? Oh, wait a minute. I'm in the wrong. Where am I? I gotta go into the let's see. Where do I have to be? So I'm looking for it, Aiken Tomel.
Yeah, you'll have to go into the root. CD dot dot.
Okay. Nice. Now Aiken build. No, that's I have to go down.
Like LS Newman, see where you are.
Yeah. So like I gotta go, wait a minute. Wait a minute, screw that. Watch this.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, there we go.
Woohoo!
Looks good. Looks super good. And it's just I have a different version of Aiken. It's yeah, okay. But that shouldn't make anything. So now I might need some help. I need to do Aiken
Check.
check M and
And
then
fail underscore mint with.
yeah. And I think it'll probably work with just that. Let's see. And we learned a bunch of kung fu here. Like you can do this, it's a bunch of flags that are kind of fun to play around with, but this should be good enough. Nice. Okay. Oh, looks like we cast a pretty big net. Hold on. Failment. Oh, there's this picked up a bunch. Hold on. So this is the Oracle. We want the Plutus NFT. There it is. And there it is. Only mint gave us false. Only mint gave us failment with incorrect name. So it failed. It gave a false, but it passed because of that bang. And I could change it and just to see, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, that's cool. Failment with mix. Look at this one really quick. Same thing, same stuff. So now, same stuff. Mint. Hmm. we've got this 2 down here. What about this one? Did I jump ahead too fast, or where should we go? I'm driving. You guys
No,
are
this is
piloting.
good. Like, what is the difference between fail mint with mix and fail mint with the previous one? I forgot the name.
Yeah, yeah. Fail mix with incorrect name.
Oh, okay.
So this is failment with mix, and I'm thinking that refers to like yeah, I don't know. That
Not
would
a
be
great name.
totally guessing.
It's not a great name. It has 2 mints. If you scroll
Yeah,
down, just
yeah,
so.
yeah. Mints. Yeah,
But we are checking only minted token, which needs 1. So
right.
that would fail because it has two mints. They also have the
Right.
wrong name, which would fail.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
because there's 2, that was the intention of the test, was to show that if you tried to mint 2 at once, it would fail.
Nice. Love it.
So,
Love it.
Kodkav, I have a small question. So, when you're testing, if you change two of these things, say for example, you change the name and like the collection, uh, so would that not like confuse the test? Like, if you're only checking for 2 months, should you not use the correct name or
I
collection?
completely agree. Yeah, that's what I thought looking at this. I was like, that's dumb because it should be the right name because we're testing. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Let's do it again. And wait a minute. How where's fail with with mix? Would that work? Oh. Oh, what did I do? Hmm. Can you help me out here?
I think you've got 2 with
Oh, I did.
right
Jeez
message.
Louise. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thanks for that catch. Nice.
Oh.
So it passed, it was false, and it wasn't because of the 0.
So if you take one of
So,
those mint lines out, will it fail? Maybe just quickly try it again.
oh hell yeah. Here we go. Let's do it because I think this policy ID would also be the same. Like it needs to be that. So let's take out this one.
Yeah.
Let's break some stuff.
Hey.
Ah, nice. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. And we could also do this. We could do this. Messing. What was that thing? Like messing with Sasquatch. Why is my, okay, here we go. Now it should pass.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I don't know, for whatever reason, I, I think that's pretty fun. Okay, want to keep going down? Want to keep
Hey Newman, can you do one more small try where you
sure.
like actually give like the correct names, but just 2 minutes?
Oh, well, I thought we did that one, but yeah, yeah.
Do the same
Is this
policy too, just because that's we are. I don't know. We already did that.
no, yeah, we already did it, but we didn't do it with the same policy ID. Is one of these policy IDs, I'm gonna ask this question and I'm gonna try to figure it out. Is one correct and the other one incorrect? Like, what is the policy ID?
2 different policy IDs, is it? By the looks of things. You've
It
got
doesn't
policy ID
does it
1 and policy ID 0.
right, but does the Oracle for our mint?
So are all the NFTs like from the same policy ID and their names are different? Is that why they're NFTs, or are they all like different policy IDs and different names?
All
Yeah.
are the same policy
Mm-hmm.
with different names,
Okay.
but
Just
we
the
also
counter goes up, or?
obviously the Oracle is a separate policy ID that we're also dealing with here. But the what you're actually minting, that comes from one policy with different asset names.
Okay.
And the different asset name is derived from the different counter from the Oracle datum.
Yep,
Mm.
convert int to bytes, and that's how we get the
Yeah,
asset.
exactly. So you mint a token with this currency policy ID A with token name 1, and the next one has to mint a token with policy ID A and token name 2.
Yeah, so we could check this in the test if you wanted to mess with the count and the asset names and making sure that they're synced
I
up.
think that would be more a test for the Oracle. As you have the logic for the counter in this validator, I guess.
Yeah, the counting logic is in the Oracle.
Yeah, then you should write the test also here.
Yeah.
So here is the Oracle.
Can you skip back to the Bluetooth NFT?
Yep.
A little side note. It's easier if you scroll up to the logic of the validator to test the functions you have on line 31, for example, only mint a token. If you write a test just for that one function instead for the whole validator, because then you can catch more different cases easier and simpler.
Wait, what do you mean exactly?
So currently the tests you have written are written for the whole validator. So you have to provide all the redeemer, policy ID, input and
Yeah,
everything.
I
And
don't
if you
need to.
write a test for only that one function, you only need to provide what the function requires. So you could write, if you scroll up, Newman, please. If you look at only minted token, that requires a mint value, a policy ID, a asset name, and a counter. And you can provide different ones without calling the whole validator.
Uh-huh.
Just
How
testing
would
that
you,
one function, because that gives you a Boolean and that's easily testable.
how would you write that test?
Yeah.
Right, Newman,
Yeah,
write
it might
it.
take. Yeah, Harsha was like, "Do it, man, do it." Oh, yeah. If we were really in the flow of things, we'd be able to just whip this out like fast, furious
Yeah.
fingers of testing. Um,
Well, I
uh,
haven't thought about this. I thought you needed to do the full picture test to do it. So if we don't have to, I'm really curious. So if we can write it, I'm curious, Adrian.
Yeah, let's start with it. So I would
yes. Okay. Tell me what to
first
write,
need
and
a
I'll do it.
name.
Uh, Name?
I would call it something similar to the function itself.
You know how to write a test, Newman.
I know I do. I know I do. Hold on.
Newman's
Uh,
gone. You get it.
yes, I was out. I get these. This is horrible. I get these spam calls, and normally I could put it, but when I've got my headphones on, it go like straight into my ear, and then I don't really want to make any kind of noise. It's like someone knocking on the door, and I was like, I don't want to say go away. So but I'm doing that anyway. That was okay. Okay. That always happens at the most inopportune time. Okay, now let's create a test. So I need a test name. What should the test name be? Naming things is the hardest thing in programming, so I'm gonna off source it. Hey, Faizan, what should the name be?
I would use something like only minted tokens underline test. Same name as the function, but with underline test at the end.
Beautiful. Any parameters to the test? Probably not.
No.
And
So now I would just yeah, let's just use the function. Let's start with the function. So only minted token.
okay. Oh, okay.
Now we need to provide some values to that. The some arguments. I
Okay.
think in Aiken you write without the space after the function name.
Yep, definitely.
So we need to
And
provide a value. Mint is a value.
mint, okay. So like all these, right?
Exactly.
Oh, we're using the same function. Okay, I understand now. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I needed to see it like that, but I did, and that makes a lot of
Nice.
sense.
All right, Code Cow's in
I'm not
and
sure if Hinson has already some tests for that function in the cocktail library, but I normally do that I just check the different functions, and then later I write just one test that all the functions are also interacting with each other the way I want them.
Yeah.
so we're gonna need to do something like this, right? The end of it. Yep. Okay, what next? Something like this is
No,
gonna
no,
have
no,
to
I,
happen.
I wouldn't do it that way because the only minted token function already gives us a Boolean which we need for the test.
Exactly. That's what we're doing here. We're isolating.
Oh,
So
we don't even. Okay.
what we need is to simulate the mint, the policy ID, and the asset name right there above the only minted token. But the purpose here is so we don't actually have to do that last test of Plutus NFT.mint, right? We can do it without that. We can, which is
Oh,
cool.
no.
That's a great point to bring up.
Something like these statements, or like which part? Let's do it all the way. Or if you're.
Yeah, let's define the mint. Now we would need some from asset, I think you can use. From asset, and this now requires as argument a currency symbol, a asset name, and a amount.
Do we have one already set up? Like this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
I learned this by watching James, FYI. He uses the find function constantly.
Oh, search. Yep. Outsource your search.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, I see Harsha doing it. I'm like, just use the find. He's like, it's right here. I was like, okay, what next? So policy ID, maybe? More or less. We can grab
Now
it
it
from here.
depends on if you want to write a successful test or an unsuccessful. If you want to write a successful test, you need the mock policy ID 0.
Okay. Oh, because it's going to match here, right? And then asset name. We have one for
Once
asset.
again, if you want to have a successful test, then you need the empty asset name.
Ooh, or we could say something like a failing test, and we give it asset name.
Yes, exactly.
Oh.
You should
what's
already be able to run it,
okay? Let's try it.
I think.
And then we can do a trace with the question, and only
No,
mint.
we don't need that, as the function
Okay.
already returns a Boolean.
It's
You can just try to run it.
run it right
The
now.
last
Okay.
statement is a Boolean anyway, Newman, so you don't have to write an extra statement.
Perfect.
Yeah, now that you say that, I could also remove that statement in my code as well. I think I did that when I was testing and reading things, but I have an additional line that I could remove.
Is this going to work? Yes. Look at that. Nice. It failed. But if we change this to Okay, so we got it to fail. Hooray! Because that's what we thought. And if we change this to, how will we make it pass now?
The empty byte string, as you see in line 45. So
Okay.
this function, only mint the token, takes the first argument, the mint value, and looks if the policy ID and the asset name is in that value.
Okay.
So if you put asset name in that string up top, it would work. Or if you clear the asset name to empty string, right?
Oh yeah, love it. Oh, wait a minute. It failed again.
Asset name to empty string, as in you can remove the quotes.
Oh. here, like this.
That's
No, we
what
need
I
a byte
think.
string as asset name. Don't think that will work.
Ah,
We'd have to define it.
But
I'm not
this
sure what it
worked
was.
before. This worked before. This worked. And let's try this, just the empty quotes.
Yeah.
Because I thought that worked before, but let's see. No. Mhm.
Is it, may I think it is because of the add you have after the first,
Oh,
because here you are adding an additional value which has the same asset name. Or it's,
right.
if you're checking that you mint only one token and currently you have two tokens in the value with the add. So if you delete
Oh,
that, then it should work.
all right. Check it out.
That's smart. That's exactly it.
Beautiful.
Nice. I
Okay.
learned something.
Okay. Ooh, exciting. All right.
and is the second line even necessary? Like we already put the policy ID 0 up there, right?
So it would make more sense if you define the policy above 45, line 45.
Okay.
Remove
Right.
it. And now instead of using mock policy ID 0, you just use policy ID, the variable.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try it. Beautiful. Okay.
This way it's way faster to write some failing tests and everything so that you can check that the function is really doing what it should do.
Yeah, and just
And so,
breaking it up into smaller pieces is always good.
Yes,
and
exactly.
we just and we we just learned that we don't have to go through the full transaction, the full mint, to just check this one uh part. Again, that the language isn't really all there, but I think I understand it. That was the big learning there.
Yeah, it's not that we don't have to go through the whole thing because we do in all the other cases, but in addition, we can check smaller module logic with these little tests.
Love it. Love it.
So I think we should look at the Oracle because that's what you have to spend in order to mint. So now that we understand all the logic for Plutus NFT, if we're there, like let's look at the logic for the spending the Oracle.
And just real quick, taking a cue from Newman, time check. We've got 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
I do have
Yep.
a hard stop in 15.
So maybe let's go for another few minutes, and then we can maybe turn off the screen and chat
Yeah, 10
freely.
minutes to understand the Oracle. Quick.
All right. Oh man. Okay, and actually this isn't helping, I don't think. Can you guys still see that? And is it okay if I
Yes, good.
yeah, okay. So we know that the Oracle has all this in it. There is a spin validator. We could look at, and I'm sure that the tests, well, let's just look at the validator. Is that it? Yeah. And then it's just and it's the validator and then the mint test case.
That's for the
Interesting.
test.
Okay. Functions. Cocktails. We're just hiking across. So now we get into our test. So what's this for the test? So this is just you set up a little
Yeah, it's just a helper
testing.
to
Yeah.
change things easier. Again, I
Yeah.
took it
Okay.
all from Mesh.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that would be kind of cool to understand. But then you've got all these test cases. So we'll do the same thing we did before. So that's a test case. Success meant unclean output, fail. And you've got a naming convention here. So you want this one to fail, mint with unclean output without
Newman, can
paying
we
the
go through the validator logic before we jump to the test?
Sure. Right up here. Okay. Yeah. All that stuff.
So the own input, as in you are checking if the input is coming from the wallet address that is playing, right?
The own input is the Oracle UTXO.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Explain.
Well, okay. I have questions about most of this, so I'm gonna
Go for it, Newman. I think it's better if you ask questions.
yeah.
I
But
think
this
this first part, Newman, is let's just say that we're like right before we get to this when. All that stuff before is like we just get the Oracle stuff,
info
right? We
stuff.
just kind of set
So this is
ourselves up to start pattern
yeah,
matching.
exactly.
So
Okay.
okay, so the pattern matching, we have two layers of pattern matching, right? And the first one, maybe you could read, but it starts at that when line with right, and it's a tuple with redeemer inputs out with policy and outputs out with policy. That's our first level of pattern matching.
Okay.
Right. So
So when
redeemer connects with right when redeemer is mint Plutus NFT.
wait a
Do you
minute,
see me?
Uh-uh.
Line
Which
57.
okay.
Right. And line
When
58, you have redeemer. And then
yeah.
on line 62, that result, right, is
I see.
that's the
Okay.
pattern match. Yeah. Okay. So that's that first tuple, right? You have those three things there.
Okay.
So redeemer is going to equal mint Plutus NFT with the winner. And then inputs at with
Oh,
policy, right? Using
okay.
the Oracle input, we are expecting only one. Jump to that part on line 63.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah. Right. That matches with we only want one Oracle input. And we also only want one Oracle output. And that's the next line. Yeah.
This one.
Right. So that first tuple of pattern matching is checking the redeemer and it's checking, do we have one input and one output with the Oracle?
Oh, okay. Yeah. This part. The one, okay. These are matching. Okay. And then is output clean? So that means, so like,
Does the
okay.
Oracle have 2 ADA as the value? And like no other values too, right? You can't put a different, like another Oracle NFT in there or whatnot. It has to be a clean just the 2 ADA plus the NFT. Is how I
Right,
read that.
right. Yep. And then is the count updated? Only output datum, the inline datum. So that's this part. And then all of this.
Yeah, so is count updated is not the best name because count is updated and winner is updated. And then it's also, this line is checking that nothing else has been updated. It's checking that
Right.
treasury address is still the treasury address, that pot
Okay.
address is still that, right? So it's maybe not the best name for is count updated.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it's checking. It's the count and the winner change each time. And the count can only go up by 1. Very important.
Okay. Yeah,
And along
that's
those
right.
lines, the winner could change to anything. There is no logic,
Right.
checking for winner. It's just whatever you pass in. Right. If we see the because the redeemer, we're passing in the new winner in the redeemer
Yep.
for Mint Plutus NFT.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the fee, like get all the values and value
Greater than or
VEQ.
equal.
Ah, nice. Thank you. I love this fee. So the fee price. Okay.
Where's that coming from?
The Oracle datum.
Yeah.
Okay. The treasury paid. So the lock paid. Okay, so this is a common pattern. Like it's checking to make sure that when we
Those are our
send,
3 notable UTXOs, actually, from the front end.
okay. Right.
Right. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah, the fee would be 2 ADA, treasury is 100 ADA, and the pot is 4 ADA. So
Right.
here's where we're making sure that when you mint an NFT, you're sending those UTXOs.
Okay. And then this is a spend because when you're minting a Plutus NFT, you're spending an Oracle NFT.
Yeah, go look
Okay.
at the Plutus NFT validator again.
Okay. And this I we've got 5 minutes left. I definitely want to have a little bit of time to so up here.
Yeah.
Minting.
Look, expect auth inputs with policy. So we're expecting the Oracle to be spent.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
In this. Okay.
When we mint.
Beautiful. That was phenomenal. Thank you, Gimbalabs. Thank you, CodeCow. Thanks for Adrian and Harsha and Andrew for chiming in. This was really a lot of fun. Yeah, in my mind, yeah, wonderful. What do you think, James?
I think we're breaking new ground. Yeah, what do you think?
Let's keep it going. I mean, geez, Louise. Yeah. And because like we're learning, this is an authentic sort of learning activity. Someone explaining, so someone, Code Cow is explaining stuff. The group mind, I think we're all engaged with it. It's just, yeah, it's really, really great. And so much better than having put poor Code Cow on the spotlight and say, now explain this all to us. It's just, let's not do that again.
I mean,
although that being said, it's good. It's good for certain things.
I mean, anybody who's taking seriously writing code, like CodeCow clearly is, right? The point is to get that code in other people's hands, right? If you only build stuff as an exercise, that's fine as far as it goes. But now we're in this moment of trying to figure out, all right, well, are we building useful things? Are we building things that other people can play with? And what I love about this project is that, like Asteria, it still falls kind of on the game side of things. But I can imagine both of these. I mean, what if a future offering to the community of what Gimbalabs does is to administer games like this that help people kind of understand what the UTXO model can do. I think that's the common thread between those two projects. And right, as if they're only viable on pre-prod because people don't want to risk the money or participate in this game, that's okay. These can still be great teaching tools, but we should also play with that idea, right? Like I, I keep going back to the idea of like a bake sale, right? Could an Asteria game or an implementation of unspent TX could could those be like bake sales for Gimbal Labs, to run those things? I don't,
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Code Cow, do you have any thoughts or otherwise? Anyone else?
This was so much fun. Really fun is the best word to describe it. I really, really enjoyed that. Newman, thank you. I mean, everybody, thank you, but Newman particularly for walking us through and taking
Yeah,
that leap.
you're
It
welcome.
was just super cool to walk through the code that I've been looking at alone for so long and have other people like read it and understand it and say exactly what I read.
Yeah,
It's just cool. Yeah, I don't know. I feel rejuvenated right now. And yeah, I'm excited to continue. If you guys want to continue, we have a couple more to go through next week or whenever. Or I'm free in other times too if other individuals want to do this.
nice.
Or not. Again, I feel like I'm taking from you. I know. I don't know. So I don't want to ask for things. They were
no,
respectful.
no,
Sure.
It's all awesome.
we've got two more live coding sessions next week and the one after before Gimbal Labs starts its summer hiatus. And what a nice way to wrap things up. I do notice that Faizan shared a library and Emmanuel had some questions to go through. So I wonder if we could keep this work as the continued stream, but maybe allocate the first 30 minutes next week to other people's questions, just to make sure that we're given that space. But as long as there's no objections to then jumping into this again, I think this is a really nice series to wrap the course for this spring.
Beautiful.
And hey,
And I hear the
I got to
bells.
jump over. I'm
Yeah,
going to a meeting. If anybody wants to join over at Intersect to present Andamio to the product committee. So if anybody wants to
nice.
join, let me share that link right here. But otherwise, yeah,
Thank you guys.
get over there.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
y'all.
We'll look for that link. And Faizan, we'll post that other thing. We'll post the GitHub link in the thing. Okay. Bye,
All right,
y'all.
everybody. Thanks. Talk soon.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ciao.